check, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2, 3, check, check, check. Testing 1, 2, 3, check, check. That's what people say when they're making sure a microphone works. They say check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this English lesson. Once I make sure everything is working properly, we will get started. And I think everything is working properly. So here we go. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about hardworking verbs. You probably have guessed that this lesson is about the verbs we use to talk about work that we do with our hands. And this lesson is filled with all different verbs that we use when we're putting a picture on the wall, when we are repairing something, when we are tightening something, when we are aligning something. This lesson is made for all English learners. All of you at some point in your life need to be able to talk about the verbs we use to talk about hard work. Maybe you need something repaired in your home. Maybe you need something fixed in your apartment. These verbs will help you talk about that. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about hard-working verbs. Hey, before we get started, I just want to say hi to people. Hi to @Nyun, Key Park, Rodrigo, Torahiki, Burgett, Freddie Wolf, Key Park. I'm saying names twice now. Sai Sandy, Wanda, Aerosmith, Judith is here as well. Hafiez, Mr. Fisheri, Gata Halina. Good to see some familiar faces and some new ones in the chat. Liana is here. Nelson is here. Bear Vilson says, amazing, on time today. It's been raining here since early morning. Hello, Teacher Bob. Hello, everybody. So it's raining there. Here it has been snowing. I have had the tractor out 3 times this week, and today will be the 4th time to clean the driveway because it just keeps, I got like a crazy hair here. It just keeps snowing. And it's supposed to snow again today, and it's supposed to be really, really cold. I think tomorrow or Sunday, it's supposed to be crazy, crazy cold. But hey, good to see all of you here. Remember, if it's your first time here, don't forget to click the red subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always helpful, especially at the beginning of a live stream. It informs a lot more people that the live stream is going on. So should we get started? I think we good. Okay. I think we good. I think we should. Here are some things you need to know. Number 1, if you have a question, use the link that's pinned in the chat or in the description below to ask that question. There are already 4 questions in the queue, so that's cool. I will teach for 10 minutes. I will pause and answer questions, and then I will teach for 10 more minutes, and we'll rinse and repeat until we are done the lesson. If you want to have fun English conversations in the chat, that is great. But yes, please don't use the chat to ask questions. Although you can ask each other questions, that's fine. Let's see here. Mode says, hey, good morning, good day. Hi, Mode, good to see you. Good to see you back again. I did want to also show you that I've cleaned my room a bit, and well, you can't quite see this, but I bought like a large, it's actually like a rolling toolbox, but I bought it so that I can have all my camera gear nicely stored somewhere safe. I've been accumulating, like we bought a little drone, and then I bought a second camera, and I needed a spot to keep it all instead of just having it all lay on my desk over there. So the room might look a little bit different. And then Jen put up a picture of my favorite tree, the one that fell over across the river a few years ago. But I'm droning on and on. Let's get the lesson started. It's time to learn some English. Here we go. To attach. Now, you might be wondering, where did Bob get the idea for this lesson? Well, if you look right here, this rolling tool cabinet had to have the wheels attached. So it came almost fully assembled, but I did have to flip it upside down, and I needed to attach the wheels to the bottom. So when you attach something, it means you have something and you use either a bolt or screw or something else to make it connected. So the wheel had to be attached. So the first thing I did was I attached the wheels to the bottom of the toolbox. And now it can be rolled. So I can roll it out of the way when I want to vacuum that part of the room. To mount. So if any of you have a large flat screen TV, I guess all TVs are flat screen now, you might have it on a TV stand, or you might want to mount it to the wall. So this person is putting up a little piece of metal. He is going to mount that to the wall, and then he's going to mount the TV onto that hanger or holder. So when you mount something, it usually means it's large and you're putting it on the wall. You could also use the verb to hang. Like you can hang a TV on the wall, but usually we would use the word mount. I have a large light here and I want to mount it to the wall. So I want to permanently attach it to the wall. We usually use hang up for things like pictures, like you can hang a picture on the wall or hang up a picture. To coil. So you can see that someone took the time to kind of like bend this copper pipe until it is now a coil. They decided to coil it. They probably had something round and then they coiled the pipe around that thing. And then when they slid it off, they had a nice coil. This also looks a little bit like a spring, but we would say that the person decided they wanted to coil the pipe. Copper pipe is bendable, so they decided to coil the pipe. To hoist. In this picture, you can see there is what we call a truss, or someone might call it a rafter, and it is on a crane, and they are going to hoist it into place. So when you hoist something, it means you pick it up from above. Actually, it doesn't have to be from above, but it usually means you're putting something heavy into place. You can hoist something this way as well. Like you can lift something heavy and hoist it up somewhere, or you can hoist something this way as well. And you might be wondering, what's the difference between hoist and lift? They're the same, but when you say hoist, it, in my mind, means something very, very heavy. So something like this, you wouldn't be able to lift by hand. So you would use a crane to hoist it into place. To wind, if you ever have string and it's just laying all over the floor, you might decide to wind the string on into a ball. If you have an extension cord, you might wind up the extension cord, although we sometimes say wrap up the extension cord. But anytime you have something long, like a string or yarn or rope or a cable or a cord, you can wind it into a ball, or you can wind it into, I guess you wind it into, what would you call that? After you wind up the extension cord, it's all wound up. That's what you're doing. But yes, so you can see by the action that this person is doing, they are winding the string basically around itself. To secure, if you have ever put anything on the back of a truck or on a trailer, you want to secure the load before you start driving. When you secure the load, it means you use ropes or straps. These are straps. Let me make this a bit bigger, to make sure whatever you put on the trailer or truck is now connected. So you have ropes or you have straps to make sure that it is secure. And we use the verb to secure. You want to secure your load before driving. You want to secure all of the wood or lumber or pipes, in this case, that you bought. You want to secure them so they don't fall off when you're driving along the road. So to secure simply means to make sure something is tied down on a trailer or a truck. You can secure things in other ways as well. You could secure a birdhouse to a pole. You could secure a picture to a wall. But usually when I think of secure, I think of a trailer. To fasten. So when you mount something to the wall, you put some screws in it. When you fasten it to a wall, you're doing the same thing basically. This person has, I think, the two verbs. I can fasten. I would use mount to put it. I would mount a TV on the wall, but I would fasten I'm not actually sure what this guy is putting on the wall, but this is the verb I would use. He had to fasten this piece of metal to the wall. Basically, it means that he has decided to put screws in it, so it is now attached to the wall. To fasten. What else would you fasten? You fasten your seatbelt. Basically, it means, once again, that two things become connected. To adjust. So this person is not fixing this. The person is adjusting it. Maybe the door closes too slowly. This to me looks like an automatic door closer. And so the person can adjust it. He can turn a little screw and that will make it either close the door faster or slower. So when you adjust something, it means you usually turn something or move something. Let's say you have a heater and it's too warm in your room. You would adjust the knob or the thermostat so that it is cooler and nicer in your room. So to adjust means there's different settings and you're changing it between the settings. You can also, like I can adjust my light right now. If I want, I can go down. I would also use the verb to dim. What number did I have it at? I think I had it at 85. There we go. So when you adjust something, you change its setting. To tighten, to loosen. So I've talked about these in other English lessons. In English, we often say righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, in order to remember which way to turn a bolt or nut or screw for it to either get to tighten it or to loosen it. So if I wanted to tighten this bolt, I would put a wrench on and I would turn it to the right or clockwise, I guess. So righty, tighty. I guess you have to be above for it to be righty. I don't want to explain too much. And then lefty, loosey. I'm probably mirrored on your screen, so hopefully this makes some sense. But when you tighten something, for instance, if this bolt was here, it would be loose and you would tighten it so that everything is now firm and in place. And if you wanted to take something apart, if you wanted to disassemble it, you might loosen the bolts or nuts in order to do that. When I put the wheels on this, I had to tighten the bolts. If I wanted to take the wheels off, I would loosen the bolts and then they would come off. To hang, if you're putting pictures on the wall, we generally use the verb to hang. Now, I thought I also had the verb to hang up, but maybe I changed it. Yeah, you can use either. You can hang some pictures on the wall or you can hang up some pictures on the wall. Both would work and both would be correct English. So this person has decided they would like some pictures on the wall. And so they decided to hang the pictures. Jen found this picture of a tree. It's not really in focus for you. How would I make it in focus? Do I have to get out of if I get out of the frame, does it come in focus? No, it's still focused on me. Sorry. That was a bad attempt at getting it to focus. If you remember, there was a tree across the river and it blew down years ago, but for my whole life, it was there and it was my favorite tree. Still is. So, okay. To hang, to put something on the wall somewhat permanently. Let's do some questions. Let me get a sip of water here. I'm a little chatty this morning because it's Friday and I'm wearing a sweatshirt and I don't have to go to work today. So that's why, if you wonder why I'm moving along somewhat slowly. Let's see here. From Judith. Hi, Bob. Is there a hardworking verb you could exchange with a non-hardworking one accidentally? Thanks. Possibly, but some of them are interchangeable. Like to lift, to hoist are like somewhat the same. To attach, to fasten, to secure. Those are all somewhat, it's kind of use specific. But yeah, Mode says, finally, Bob got that picture up. Your studio office is coming together nicely. Yeah, it is my main job today. You guys can't see this end. This end is a disaster. Brent has seen this end. When Brent was down a couple years ago, it wasn't too bad, but it definitely looked lived in. That's how I would say it. Oh, and Brent's here. Hi, Brent. Good to see you. Okay, here we go. Unabi says, "Hi, Mr. Bob. Glad to see you again. When do we use to set up instead of to adjust? They're both kind of similar, aren't they? It depends. Like, if I get a new computer, I'm going to set up my new computer. If I get a new toolbox, I'm going to set up my new toolbox. Wait, that's the wrong thing. I'm going to set up my new toolbox. By the way, maybe I should find a picture. Here, let me do this. I can't spin my camera, but I can do this. I need a wider shot here. You can see most of my junk in the corner. Okay, so this is what I bought. Oh, there's a glare. So that is, I think it's a Husky. I think it's made in America. So Brent, pretty sure it's made in America. So there's still some good relations between the US and Canada. I'm still buying American stuff. But what was the question again? Let me get that back on the screen. Yes. When you first get something, you usually set it up. That's the general verb. I bought a TV. I'm going to set it up in my back room. Adjust, though, is after it's set up, you might move it slightly, or you might put it in a slightly different, like I'm going to adjust where it is, or it means something's already there and you're changing things slightly. So let's see here. Judith, hi Bob. If you use fasten in another sentence, can it be mistaken for something else? Thanks. Yeah, so fasten, the most common way you'll hear this is fasten your seatbelts. If you're on an airplane, they'll say, I was going to say, s'il vous plaît. They'll say, could you please fasten your seatbelts? That is probably where you'll hear the verb the most, but it also means to attach something to, you can, if you screw a piece of wood to the wall, you fasten it to the wall. Hi, know that. Good to see you. See some people popping in the chat. Good to see familiar faces. From Sergey. Is it true that if I say my bad in a work environment, it shows incompetence? It depends. It means you made a mistake, and it's an informal way of admitting it. And in some ways, it can even mean you're expressing that you're sorry. Okay. So if I'm working with a friend and he gives me his drill and I drop it on the floor, I would say, oh, my bad. And I pick it up. It kind of means like, oh, I'm sorry. Although you should probably still say I'm sorry. Yeah, it doesn't show incompetence necessarily because we all make mistakes, but it does mean that you have made a mistake and you are admitting that you made a mistake. From Kuso, excuse me, Teacher Bob, what's the difference between fasten and tighten? Can it be exchanged? They are not interchangeable. If you have, a bolt, you will tighten the bolt and you will loosen the bolt. If you have a screw, you can tighten the screw with a screwdriver or loosen it. Fasten is the action of, if I have a wall and I put a piece of wood here, I can fasten it to the wall by putting screws in, and then I can tighten the screw. But the action of putting it on the wall, I would be fastening it. That's the verb to fasten. So not quite interchangeable, but I don't do politics, but Donald Trump, good relations between US and Canada. I don't talk about politics, but all I will say is that I think things will get better. There. Is that, am I being a politician by saying that? The world is a very unique place right now. This is not the world I expected before the pandemic. But I think over time, things will get ironed out. There's a good verb for you guys. Ironed out. Okay, let me go to full display here and let me have a sip of water. And we will get back to the lesson. I'm just laughing at my very neutral answer on the last question or on the last statement. Okay, here we go. To roll up. Now, I would actually probably say to wind up, but you can also roll up. This is an extension cord, and this person has decided to roll up the extension cord, or to wind up, or to wrap up. But I probably wouldn't use to coil up, even though I taught you the verb to coil earlier. So when you have a long extension cord, because you need to have electricity far from an outlet, when you're done, you want to roll up the cord or wrap up the cord or wind up the cord. I would use any of those verbs and they would all work. To wrap. So these people are putting something on this house called home wrap. So they have decided to wrap the house. You can also wrap a present, by the way. Before you give someone a present, you will wrap it. So you can tell it's the action of covering something, usually with paper or plastic or something very, very thin like that. They will wrap the house so that it doesn't have any drafts. So wind can't blow in. But when you wrap a present, you do it because you want to hide what the present is from someone until they decide to open it. So to wrap, to cover something with paper or cloth or fabric or plastic, something thin, in order to cover it, I guess. To install. If you take out a window, you have to install a new window. If you take the radio out of your car or the stereo out of your car, you might buy a new one and then install a new one. So it's hard to explain exactly what this means, but it means you are putting something in the place where it needs to go permanently. So you can install a door in a house, you can install a window, you can install a stereo in a car because there is a hole in the dash where you can put it. If I bought, I don't have a remote car starter, so I can't start my car from in the house, but I would love to install a remote starter in my car. So it doesn't have one. They would need to install one. I had a pickup truck many, many years ago, and it had a remote starter, and that's really nice in the winter. So to install, to put something in place permanently. To clamp. If you have two pieces of wood and you put glue on one piece and then you put another piece of wood against it, you need to clamp the wood so that it dries very, very securely. And so a clamp is something that connects two pieces of wood together. Are we going to have like the sunshine effect here? We might. I thought we were past that era, but maybe we will have that. So, by the way, that's also called a clamp. You would use a clamp to clamp two pieces of wood together. Basically, you tighten the clamp. There's another verb we just learned, in order to press the two pieces of wood together really, really strongly. To connect, when you have two things that can go together, you can connect them. So you can connect two extension cords together. You can connect, what else can you connect? I'm trying to think. After we put the Christmas lights on the tree, we connect them to an extension cord. In that case, you can also say plug in. You can plug them in to each other. But yes, when you have two things, if you have two chains, you can connect them together as well. Not sure I'm explaining this one really well, but when you connect two things, you put them together. To link. So this was kind of a hard one to find a picture for, but here you have two electrical panels and they decided to link them together. So you can see the black cable that goes from one box to the other. You could use the verb to connect. They decided to connect them together. You could also say they decided to link them together. This reminds me of a long time ago. I was going to talk about, we would have 4 computers and they would all be linked to a printer. And then we had a little box and you had to choose which computer could print. This is like 30 years ago, before we had a network at school. But you could also use it to talk about computers. All the computers in the world are linked together through the internet. My computers in my house are linked together because I have a network. The computer I'm sitting at is linked through the network to my larger computer over there. So to link, to connect two things together. To tie. So this is a simple one. You mostly do this with rope or string. It's when you create a knot so that the rope or string is connected to something else. Here they decided to tie the rope to this wooden pole. If I had a piece of string, I could, oh, this is an elastic, but I could pretend this is a string, and I could tie this around my finger to help me remember, not very good at tying, to help me remember something. I did a really bad job. But anyways, when you tie two things together, or when you tie something, it usually involves a string or rope. I would call this a rope, and you create a knot so that that thing is basically held to whatever you tie it to a hook. So here you have two hooks, and they've decided to hook them together. When you hook something, it usually means there is some kind of hook on it. So a hook is usually a bent piece of metal. It can be made out of wood as well, but usually a hook is made of metal. And so if I had my glasses here and I had something with a hook, I could hook it onto my glasses. When you put your clothes on a coat hanger, you then hook it on the bar in your closet. So a hook is anything that is shaped like this, that is meant to kind of connect in the way you see in this picture here to another thing. Hey, I need a sip of water, and we're going to do some questions a little bit early. Let me do the sip of water first, and then let me turn on members only chat here. I got to find the setting. Here we go. Customize members only. If you are a member, you are most welcome right now to ask questions directly in the chat. And the rest of you, we will continue to answer questions here, and I will get back to the lesson in about 8 or 10 minutes, and we'll finish it off. From Judith. Hi, Bob. What kind of book do you read after work? Thank you. Have a great weekend. So I just finished reading Circle of Days by Ken Follett. I was reading that before Christmas already, and it took me a very long time. The book is quite thick. Now, I read it on my Kindle, so the real book was quite thick. But let me say it this way. The book was very long, and I actually didn't have a lot of time to read it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to read next, but there is a book. Yeah, there's a book that they were reading in a class at school. I can't remember the title, but I might read it. I'll try to remember it and let you guys know. Hasham says, things that you think you can disassemble and reassemble in your house. Not a lot. I could probably take my computer apart and put it back together. I could disassemble my computer and then reassemble it. But other than that, not a lot of things are easy to do that way. From Know That in the chat, we have, hey Bob, since January is almost over, have you managed to increase the weights at the gym, or are you still on the lighter ones? Thank you, Bob. Thanks, Bob. I'm on 8 pounds now. I did 5 pounds, then I did 7.5 pounds. And then instead of moving up to 10 pounds, because this, I don't know, this is kind of was irritating me a bit. I thought, you know what, I'll do a few weeks at 8 pounds before I move up to 10. So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to the gym later today, and I'll be hitting the 8-pound weights. At least the 8-pound weights look a little bigger. I don't feel as self-conscious. From Mode, could be a snow day. I don't know. I missed the first few minutes of the lesson. Oh yeah, it is exam week, and it is the last day of exams, and I do not give an exam today. So I am home relaxing. If I scroll back, no, that says, but what I can definitely say to, he's talking to Mode, is that Bob looks good, and it seems he doesn't have to go to work today. Nope. No work today, but we did have a snow day last Thursday. We did have a snow day this past Monday, and that should be it. Like, there's a bad storm coming through on Sunday, but school doesn't start again until Wednesday right now. My job right now is to grade all my exams and to give students their marks. So, okay, from Akil. She told, so here's what I would say. I'm not going to read the sentence. I'm going to try and read what I would say are correct, or say what I think are correct sentences. I would say, she told me that she sung a song. So that's the past tense. Or she told me that she is going to sing a song. That would be kind of past, but she's talking about the future. That's a tricky one. She told. So I don't know exactly where you're going. You could say she told me that she knows how to sing that song, or something like that. So hopefully I helped there. Sometimes I'm not the most helpful with questions, so sorry about that if I'm not. From Unsel, hi, no question today. Just thank you for your hard work and consistency. You're welcome. Wishing you good health and many more years with your loved ones. Always a pleasure to see you. You too, Unsel. Thanks for the kind words. That is very nice of you. From Know That in the chat, I don't know if you've already been asked, but what is that new piece of furniture on your right, Bob? Yes, so that is, I should have a second camera hooked up, right? That would really help. So I showed this picture. I took a picture during the live stream. So it is it going to focus? Yeah, there's quite a bit of reflection, isn't there? Now I think you can see it. That is a Husky 46-inch 9-drawer rolling toolbox that I bought for camera gear, because between Jen and I both having YouTube channels, we have a lot of camera gear. We needed a nice place to put it, so that's what that is. And I might buy another one. I don't know. It wasn't cheap. I might wait and see if they go on sale. We'll see. Let's see. No, that says, by the way, the picture looks really good in that spot, and you changed the position of your reading light again. Yes. So we had the reading light here, but then it would reflect in my monitor when I was using my computer. So we slid the couch and then we moved the light back that way. From Hafiaz, Mr. Fisheri, are the walls there in Canada usually drywall or made of bricks and mortar or concrete? So generally the inside is drywall. These walls are all drywall. And then the outside of my house is brick. So if you were to look at a wall of my house, it would be brick and then wood with insulation and then drywall on the wood. That's the simplest. So brick, wood, drywall. That's what a side view of a wall in most Canadian houses would look like. Some people don't have brick, they have siding, but I have brick. Mode says, no question today, Mr. Bob. I just appreciate how you chose to go about this topic because of me. Because part of me was worried this lesson would take a hustle culture kind of turn. Yeah, so hardworking, that's kind of a play on words for this lesson. If someone's hardworking, it means they work really hard. But in my view, the people who are currently working outside doing construction in Canada when it's minus 15, they are hardworking people. I'm a teacher. I work hard, but it's not the same. Like my hands don't get cold at work. I don't have to wear a toque or anything like that. So, but yeah, hardworking has a lot of variety or variations of how you could use it. From Know That, what are you up to today or this weekend? Do you have anything special planned? Thanks in advance, Bob. So number one, I got to start working on my taxes. Number two, I want to finish cleaning up my office and rearranging things. Number three, I have to work on school stuff. I have quite a bit of stuff the semester is ending. So I have a lot of, I would call it paperwork, but it's all on the computer. I just need to make sure I close out the semester with everything done properly. From Freddie, no question today, Bob. I just appreciate following your great lesson. Thanks for all kind greetings. You are very, very welcome. And then from Cy Sandy. Hi, Bob. I enjoy watching your previous videos. The video which you ran between two sides of a table to explain how to memorize words by writing down the sentence in the magazine is really impressive. Oh, yes. Creating distance between when you read something and when you use it is a very good idea. Yes, that was a fun video. Is that the one where I put post-it notes on my car, I think, as well? Know That says, on another note, what's the weather like today? Are you still experiencing freezing temperatures and strong winds? Well, the weather, let me read this for you guys. Current conditions, minus 12 degrees Celsius, 60% chance of flurries, so it's probably going to snow. Tonight, minus 20 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, minus 12. And tomorrow night, minus 14. So tonight, minus 20 is very, very cold. Like, you really can't be outside in minus 20 degrees Celsius for very long. Like, you can walk to your car. You can't be out for more than 5 minutes. That would be way, way too cold. So, and then good morning, Bob from North York, Ontario. Very cool to have you here. I hope things are going well in North York. I almost drove that way to buy a toolbox yesterday because there was a larger one available in Oakville. But I decided it was too far away and the weather was too bad. So I just went to my local Home Depot and bought this one. Let's see here from Kuso, and then we'll get back to the lesson in just a bit. At the end of the video, I always hear you say, wrap up the video. Is it wrap? Yes. W-R-A-P. When you're doing something and you are finishing it, you can wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the video. I'm not yet. Don't leave. We still have about 20 minutes. But when you're like at work, you can say, okay, let's wrap up this project and go home, or let's wrap this up and go home. It means to finish something. Yeah, good question, by the way. Let's see here. From Elena. Hello, Bob. And how to say in English? Yeah, we would say to rewire. Like, I'm going to rewire my house so that everything has its own outlet. Okay. So I would probably say something like, we're going to renovate the bathroom. And part of the renovation is we're going to rewire, or we're going to reroute some of the wires. That's how you could say that. Yes, good idea. Sometimes that's a good thing to do. Key Park says minus 20 is so cold. Yes, minus 20 Celsius. If it ever went to minus 40, you don't have to say Celsius or Fahrenheit. It's the same at minus 40. No, that says, Bob, could you shed some light on the meaning of the expression to come to terms with something and give some examples of its usage? As always, a heartfelt thank you. So let's say you got in a car accident and you were very upset because your car was destroyed. You had to buy a new car. And for days, you're just angry and upset and sad. And then eventually you buy a new car. We would say that eventually you had to come to terms with the fact that your old car was done. You had to accept that. So it means when you come to terms with something, you're past the emotion of the event and you're starting to think logically again. We often use this when someone loses a job. Eventually they have to come to terms with the fact that they lost their job. So instead of being angry and upset and crying and sad, they have to stop their emotions after a few days, and then they need to find a new job. They need to come to terms with the fact that their old job is over. From Mr. Ficheri, oof, good luck plowing the snow on your driveway again, Bob. Yeah, I love it. I really enjoy cleaning the driveway, but not. The other morning I was out, it was minus 17. I think I mentioned that in my Wednesdays with Bob. That was too cold. That was way too cold. I did not enjoy that. Sergey's question is, what is the difference between to link and to wire? So when you wire something, it usually means like a house, and you're going to put electrical wires in the wall. You're going to wire the room for electricity. When you link something, it simply means you connect it together. Like when you have your router, you need to link it to your internet connection. So you have to connect it. You have to link it. That's how I would describe that. From Freddie Wolf, in the 80s, we could rewind our music cassettes. True. That's an item that people under 20 have never seen. Hey, yes, cassettes. Those were fun. I had a radio with dual cassette, and then you could copy one to the other. That was really cool. Okay, sip of water. Turn off members only chat. And then we are go. Oh, I almost clicked end stream. That's not what I'm looking to do. Am I in the wrong screen here? No, I think I'm in the right spot. Customization, subscribers, save. Okay. So we should see that bump up. Good. Last question. Sandy says, do people need to go to work in the heavy snowstorm days in Canada? It depends on your job. So Most people, yes. If you work with kids, like if you're a teacher, often the schools and daycares will be closed. I know my sister could work from home, but my other sister had to go to work. So yes, it just kind of depends on what your job is. Okay, here we go. To place, to position. So this is a little tricky to explain, but they are hoisting this beam and then they're going to place it in the right spot. So this is a general verb. Like I can take my cup and I can place it on top of my camera. I don't know why I would do that. That's a bad example. I can take my glasses and I can place them on top of my head. So it's a general verb that you use when it means something is being put somewhere. So they are going to place this beam. They're going to hoist it and then place it in the right spot. To position means almost the same thing, but it might be a little more precise. So you could say this: they're going to place it in the right spot, and then they're going to position it. Like they're going to make sure it's exactly in the right spot. But I could definitely use these two verbs interchangeably. They've hoisted the beam and they are going to position it, or they're going to place it in the right spot. I like this little machine he's using to position the beam. When I worked construction, we would have done this by hand with like 3 people at each end lifting a 600-pound beam. That was not fun. But he has a nice little machine he can use to position that beam. To align. So this is related also to precision. When you put 2 pieces of wood together like this person is doing, you want to align them perfectly. Because if they're out of alignment, then the furniture or whatever you're building doesn't look good. So you want to make sure that they are aligned properly. So again, if you look at my fingers, you don't want it out of alignment. You want it to be aligned. So you align them properly and then use glue, and then you would use a clamp to clamp it together. So to align means to, like usually it's 2 or more things and you're putting them exactly where they need to go. The same happens when you put, like there's trim around this door and you want to align the 2 pieces so that they come together with some precision. To suspend. So Jen has lights in her work area in the barn, in her flower shop, and we decided to suspend some lights. We would probably use the verb to hang, but this light, someone has decided to suspend the light from the ceiling. So it simply means that there are ropes or chains or something that are holding it up. I would probably use the verb to hang, like Jen has decided to hang more lights in her workshop. But we do use suspend, like, oh, you need to suspend more lights in that room if you want it to be brighter. To assemble and to disassemble. Now, these pictures look very similar. But in this picture, the person has bought a piece of furniture and they are going to assemble the furniture. They are going to read the instructions and they are going to attach and connect and tighten little bolts. And they're going to make sure they align everything properly as they build what looks like maybe a dresser. Not sure what it is. To assemble means to put something together. It means you have pieces and you are going to connect them together to make something. To disassemble is the opposite. This person might have decided they want to move their chair to another location. So they are going to disassemble it. They're going to take it apart. And then they are going to move it, and then probably they will assemble it again. So once again, to assemble means to put something together. To disassemble means to take something apart. To reinforce. So sometimes when you connect things together, they're a little bit wobbly and they're not very secure and they need to be reinforced. So here you can see they put a couple extra pieces of wood on angles, and those pieces of wood will reinforce what you've built. So it will be very secure and firm, and it won't be wiggly or wobbly anymore. So to reinforce means to add pieces to something so that it is more solid, so it is stronger, so it is safer as well. To replace. So it looks like this deck had a rotted board, and so this person has decided to replace it. So replacing, the verb to replace means two things. It means to remove something and then put something back where it was. If you have a board that is rotted, you will remove it and then put a new one in. You will replace it. So again, the action has two parts. When you replace something, you're removing something and putting something else there. If I, where are my, oh, my other glasses are right here. So if I was wearing these glasses and I decided that they weren't working, I could replace them with these glasses. I don't wear these very often. I'm not sure if these are men's or women's. I got them for free from my sister. So I know you guys can decide. But either way, when you replace something, it means you take one away and put something else in the place where it was. To repair. So sometimes things break and you need to fix them. You need to open them up and take parts out and put other parts in. Maybe you need to replace the battery. So again, you would then take the battery out and put a new battery in. But sometimes you just need to repair something. Sometimes something is broken and you need to repair it. So this is different than assembling something. This happens after you've used something or had something for a while, and then part of it isn't working anymore. So you need to repair it. Hey, that's the end of the formal part of the lesson. I will now, sometimes, someone said nice classes. Sometimes I do this. Well, I poke myself in the eye there almost. Sometimes I do this. And then that just looks strange because you don't need two pairs of glasses at the same time. That's just silly. Hey, let me finish off questions. I have 3 or 4 left, and then we will wrap up the lesson. And if you have questions in the chat and you ask them now, I might get to them. Unabi says, sorry, just want to add quite special verb to ground. It's used pretty often in electricity. So yes, you need to ground things. If you have electricity in your house, it probably will be grounded. There will be a pole that goes in the ground that actually allows all of it to work properly. Let me see here. It says, from Hasham, me and 11 friends bunked English class in university and watching Bob Sir in the canteen. I don't know if bunked means skipping class, but you should go to class. But I appreciate that you are watching me. That's very, very fun. Thanks, Hasham, for making me imagine. I was imagining you and your 11 friends sitting in the canteen or cafeteria, eating snacks and watching me. Okay, I'm going to skip the next question because it's very grammatical and I don't have time to explain that in detail off the cuff, off the top of my head without planning. So I'm going to leave that one. Mode says, thanks so much, Mr. Bob. Stay warm and enjoy your relaxed schedule. I will. I am going to, though, I'm going to go bundle up. I've taught that verb before. I'm going to bundle up and go outside and clean the driveway now because I think we might have an Amazon delivery coming. But yeah, so layers. I'm going to wear 2 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, winter coat, toucan gloves, winter hat and gloves, and get out there. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just wrap this up. I think this is good. If you want to reinforce what you've learned today, this lesson will come out in a shorter version in 2 days, and it will have subtitles. I highly recommend that you watch it or just listen to it. That works as well. And I'm looking forward to making another English lesson for this coming Tuesday. That should be fun. I have a few ideas. It won't be out in the cold, I don't think, but it might be. We'll see. I'm certainly not going out tonight to make one. That would be crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day. and have a good weekend.